Fit like AWT, Dannyman here, and welcome back to another episode of Transport Fever 2 on our Around the World in Time playthrough. So we're on the Liverpool-Manchester map, and I have been searching for... I've actually started the detailing on this on another save. I'm just sort of doing this so that you guys can sort of see what it is I'm actually doing and why it is taking so incredibly long, because there's a lot to do, and in reality I'm only about up to here. I think this is no, where's Glaze? Yeah, Body Lane is like Glazebury or something nowadays. Yeah, I'm only like up to there. There was actually a ton of stuff I had to do here. It was going to take ages, but we will build out the line that I am currently detailing. Now, I've already sort of built a template of the line, and I've been building around it. Most of Manchester and Salford, Eccles, all these places have been deleted and sort of rebuilt up. Places like Lee and Earlham that don't really interfere with what we are building has been left alone. Now, the London and Manchester Railway had several other branch lines. I believe there was one down to Warrington, there was one up to Bolton, one to Wigan. There are various quarries and harbours and collieries, cotton mills, farms, foundries, various different things along the route that the train used. Now, it was open for passengers and it didn't open for freight till later, but yeah, it did mail as well, so pretty interesting. The good old London and Manchester Railway, the world's first intercity. Now, obviously on Transport Fever maps, this is a large 4K map. It's a megalomaniac sized map. However, these are quite crammed in, but it's fine because the train is super slow. Most of these stations are closed or disused. Like the main lines and stuff run in different places now, which is going to be just fine, but we'll still sort of build up the area around this. Well, I have been building it up. So, starting with the first station. Now, we'll start at the Manchester side. Now, we've got Liverpool Road Station, which was opened in 1830 as one of the main... It was the main terminus in Manchester for the L&MR. It then closed, and then it then became Liverpool Victoria, sort of further down the line. And we have the River Irwell as well. Now, obviously, this is just a template of the river. There should be a bridge going over here. There is another station, Ardsall Lane, that should be here, but I'm not going to do that. The next station is going to be Cross Lane here at Salford. So we are going to build the route out. Let's grab some tracks. I don't know, 35 miles per hour. That seems just fine. So bring it out. It is going down. Do I need you to go down? No, I kind of need you to stay about there. Now, there were lots of bridges, viaducts, etc. That were built on the the Liverpool and Manchester Railway. So we'll sort of build as many as we can. Not all the canals and rivers are going to be there. It's not going to be deadly accurate. It is actually super hard when you're doing the research to sort of find out what stations were used, where the train went, where all the rivers and canals are. Obviously, the maps from 1830 are super old and no longer existence, apart from some on Wikipedia and some of the like old school national rails, sort of other companies online that have sort of national rail history, and museums and stuff have some of them. But yeah, so this is we're linked into Cross Lane here, which is in Salford. The next one is Waste. So it's like Waste railway station, which is sort of out in the middle of nowhere, right here. However, just below it there was a dock line. Over here at the canals, there was a freight line that went up. So we are going to head up to Waste, yes. Let's give me a nice curve. That's beautiful. Now this line continued on to Eccles. Now there are literally 2 stations in Eccles, or there were at the time. There was this one here, which was Eccles Station. The freight line sort of then just sort of came up for the harbour. I think it went underneath this. I think there was potentially a bridge. We'll do our bridge over for the time being. You're going to give me a bridge? We could possibly do it like over here. Come on, give me the bridge. It's because it's going uphill and it absolutely despises that. But yeah, there should be a sort of bridge. Well, what we'll do is we'll just take that over. And this basically, well, when you look at the map, where is my map? I've got my map, or did have my map, right next to me. It seems to have done a runner. Where's the map? Where's my glorious map? Ah, it's gone. Well, that sucks. So I'll retype that then. So Liverpool Manchester Railway map. Alright, it was the last thing I searched for in Google. Happy days. So yeah, looking at the map, maybe not this one. Ooh, I can't actually find the map I was using. But there definitely was a line that sort of went underneath. I'll have to re-find it. And I think it basically just sort of went in like that way. And then it dropped off right there. So we'll build out this sort of dock area as well. Or I have sort of done it. I'm not actually finished it. So from Eccles, it then went to, I believe it's Pettycroft. Yes, Pettycroft Station, which sort of just the other side of Eccles. And then it sort of came down and went back towards the river to a place, a station called, I think it's Barton Moss. It then turned sort of this way and going back up to the north. Now there is a station in between these 2 stations, so back in the day there was Lamb's Cottage, but it opened, and then like a year or 2 after they sort of closed it. And then this is the little village of Astley, which is just sort of southeast of Lee there. And then the next station, well, there's a few other places. So between here and here there's Chatmoss Embankment, which is obviously they had to cut away, and they had to cut into the land, and the rail, basically there was embankments at both ends, and it looks pretty deep. There's an old school sort of painting of the cutting and the embankment that they built up for the train to sort of sit on. That is very, very old school, the painting. So there's Chatmoss Embankment. There's then Flow Moss, but I've not got Flow Moss in. Our next one is Bury Lane. Now Bury Lane got changed to Glaisbury and Bury Lane. There's a closed railway station between Liverpool and Manchester, and was one of the inaugural stations on the route when it was first made. So this is Bury Lane right here. Now the next area, heading up towards sort of Newton Lee Willows, or is that? No. We screwed that up. So what is this? Yeah, this is Astley Station. This is Barton Moss. Flow Moss. Yeah. Flow Moss was one I missed out. So that is Flow Moss, a short-lived original railway station on the Liverpool-Manchester Railway, south of Astley Village, in what was then the county of Lancashire, England. So it says it's to the south of Astley Village, but that means I'd have to go down. It's just the way Transport Fever maps are, but it is there. Flow Moss Station, and then the next one is Bury Lane, or Glaisbury as it is now known. So let's head off. Whoops. Around there. There we go. Whoop. Did you actually join up? You are. So there we go. And then on to Newton Lee. Well, this is not Newton Lee Willows. So there's an area called Kenyon Junction. The Kenyon and Lee Junction Railway was constructed to link the Bolton and Leigh Railway B&LR, which terminated at the Leigh branch of the Leeds and Liverpool Canal, with the Liverpool and Manchester Railway sort of running through it. So there are other railways that join up to this, as we can see. The Bolton one was way back, I do believe, or was it? There's the Wigan branch is just sort of coming up as well. So we reach an area, I think this is Parkside, it is. And just before Parkside, so there's a new Parkside station and there's an old one. So we're obviously going with the old one. But after the new station, but before the old station, there was a branch line that headed off up to Wigan before it reached Newton Lee Willows. So let's pipe that in. There we go. So after Parkside, we've got Newton Bridge. Sweet. So this is Newton Bridge here, which would have been Newton Lee Willows station at the time. There is actually a river or canal here that should go through. Newton Bridge. No, not yet. It should go at Eccleston. And then there should be the Sankey Canal as we head round here to Collins Green. But we're not going to have that in, unfortunately. We then head up from Collins Green to St Helens Junction. So I think I'll take it round that way, a touch, and round that way. So there should actually be a bridge there. I don't mind if there is, because there were a lot of bridges on the railway and a lot of viaducts. So St Helens Junction. St Helens Junction. So the St Helens and Runcorn Gap Railway, later known as the St Helens Railway, was an early railway company in Lancashire, England, which opened in 1833. It ran originally from the town of St Helens to the area which would later be developed into the town of Widnes. Branches were opened to Garston. So Widnes is actually down here. So it would run from there down the way. So that's pretty cool as well. That's another little line. I mean, we could have the train go underneath this bridge and then make its own way to Widnes. I'll have to do more information or more research on these branch lines, but I would like to get them in. So the next stop though is Leigh Green. Now I believe Leigh Green is still a functioning station. I'm pretty sure. Rainhill is the next stop, so this is where our Rainhill trials would have taken place. There was a nice long flat bit for a couple of miles where they held the Rainhill trials, and this is Rainhill here. So the next stop after that is it's a freight station. This is Houghton Quarry. So there was a quarry in here. There were also other foundries and stuff. I remember seeing a picture. I wonder if it's actually in the old Wikipedia, as it is. So the railway passes the Bridgewater Foundry at Pettycroft. So Pettycroft was way back before Newton Lee Willows. So just over here there was a large foundry. So I am trying to build those and have them in. It's a shame I can't just place the standard steel mill industry, because the standard steel mill industry looks absolutely nothing like what the foundry looked like back in the day. So it was all brickwork and smokestacks made of brick. Not this. Where is it? Yeah, that's a bit new age, even though we're in 1850. And the problem is these assets as well. Like, they've got these skips and barrels and steel and IBCs, which are industrial chemical basins and stuff. Yeah, none of that existed. So even though they're nice, Urban Games made them look nice, and they're nice industries, nice assets, but they're just not of any use for the 1850s. But we've got the freestyle industry mod, so I've been making industries around them. Now we have, after Houghton Quarry, is Houghton itself. the next area, now when we're getting to sort of around this way, Liverpool is basically growing out through all these areas. It's obviously expanded quite a lot. So this is Robbie, and I think Robbie is pretty much encompassed by the outskirts of Liverpool. And then we've got Broad Green here, which is the next one. We then head round to Wavertree Lane, which was the station at the time, and then we can sort of head round and go to, this is Edge Hill. Now over here is where I've sort of, this is Liverpool Lime Street, but the station we want for the time is Liverpool Crown Street. So that's Liverpool Crown Street there, and that is the end of our London and Manchester Railway. Now it's got a tunnel here. Interestingly, there is a tunnel that headed off from here. There was a 2-mile tunnel that was dug underneath the metropolitan area of Liverpool to the harbour. So trains could continue, and they went under the tunnel, and they ended up, and it was the largest tunnel, I think. What did it say about it? I can't remember. Background, formation, blah blah blah, construction. There is a large, the Wapping Tunnel to Liverpool Docks from Edge Hill Junction. Nice. Steeply graded. It was 1.5 miles. So what it says something was no horse traffic. The first to have signalling system, the first to be fully timetabled, the first to carry mail. So yeah, that was a railway of firsts, the London and Manchester, the Liverpool Manchester Railway. But yeah, over here would be like Liverpool Lime Street, I believe it is, and this one would be down here, and there would be the tunnel that would go under to the harbour. Now this area is nice and flat, and I can build up a harbour area and have a train tunnel like go underneath it to here. I'll probably remove most of this, but imagine things like Bootle, Birkenhead, and this is all, there's bridges over here, this is all like one huge city. The river here is quite big, weirdly. Also, these rivers here are like placeholders, but because they're more inland, the sides are steeper, so I'm gonna have to flatten the areas around here. But yeah, there is the railway station. There's the railway line. Now, just before Liverpool, there was a Liverpool Train Works, one doth believe, Wapping Tunnel, Lime Street, Crown Street. Yeah, and there was a junction somewhere. So the Edge Hill Railway Works was built by the Liverpool Manchester Railway around 1830 at Edge Hill. Liverpool, a second, was built in 1839. So just before Edge Hill, around this area, probably about down here or something, there was a railway works where rails and locos and stuff were built. So we'll try and get that in as well. Now, I could put the train on the line, but this is literally just a building episode to show you guys why it is taking me so long to sort of flesh out and detail this map. It's because there are a lot. Now, there's a lot of farmland and moss, and this area here was like a huge marshland, and there were a lot of farms and stuff, but there's a lot of industries and little towns and villages to sort of build up, and I am trying to go as fast as possible to build them up. But the reason I brought you this little episode first is so I could go over and explain the railway, and then when it comes to the detailing, we can just sort of jump in a train and look at things as it's going past. But to explain everything and do the sort of version I've been doing before, where I build out the railway and then we come back when it's all built and we jump on a train and stuff, is that would just make the episode extremely long. So we've got this episode going first. Now I could jump on a train, but the trains are extremely slow, and by the time we get there, again it would be extremely long. So that is the railway, and this is what I've been sort of fleshing out and building in the background. Obviously Manchester is a huge place, so is Liverpool, so the fact that this is on a huge hill, so that was no use. If I dig a little deeper here, I can actually get water. So bring the brush size down. If I go down just a little bit, see the water is actually there. So I've been lowering all this stuff so that we've actually got real water, and I can maybe get canal boats and stuff up here. But yeah, I had to level this down, sort of flatten all this area so it was like on the same level, get the bridges across, flatten out this area. You literally have to like flatten out the area. Salford I just rebuilt. So I just, instead of rebuilding the entire city, I just built out this area and then added Salford in. It's nice to have some towns that still have their AI and all their houses and stuff and actually work. But yeah, that's going to be it for this episode. The next episode you will see will be the detailed version. Now, I'm not sure about the branch lines. We'll maybe save the branch lines for different episodes. They are their own separate railways from the London and Manchester Railway, but they did run at this time, so it'd be nice to get them going. I don't know what trains I would use on them. I'll keep looking out in the workshop. There are a handful of trains from Transport Fever 1 that I may try and port over across, but we'll see how it goes. But that's going to be it for this little episode, showing you guys the Liverpool and Manchester Railway. As I said, the next episode will be hopefully fully detailed. I might even do half or something up to like Newton Lee Willows and then do the other half. But we'll see how we get on. But that's going to be it for me. This has been Transport Fever 2. I've been Danny Min, and I will catch you later.